Hi everybody. In this class we are going to discuss about the details of functioning of heart. In the previous video we saw about the four chambers of the heart and their parts and how the blood transfers into the heart, how blood passes into the chambers. Today we are going to discuss some more details. Here these two are atrium, these two are atrium or auricle, and these two are ventricles. So we have two upper auricles and two lower ventricles. Two upper auricles. This will be our left auricle, and this will be our left ventricle, and this will be our right auricle, and this is right ventricle. So two auricles and two ventricles, two upper auricles and two lower ventricles, and this heart is divided into two halves by a thin partition membrane known as septum. This is septum. So in order to understand, we will move from the left hand side. In order to understand the flow of blood, we will move from the left hand side. Okay, so here this will be our pulmonary veins. These are pulmonary veins. Okay, these two are pulmonary veins. Okay, and this is vena cava. I hope in the previous class I have told you about the structure. So this is vena cava. This is known as superior vena cava. Since it collects the blood from our upper part of our body, and this is inferior vena cava. It collects the blood from the lower region of our body, inferior vena cava, and this is going to be the pulmonary artery. Okay. Now the oxygen present in the lungs, are picked up by the pulmonary veins. Okay, I have told you all the veins they carry deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. Pulmonary vein carries oxygenated blood. So all the veins carries deoxygenated blood except pulmonary vein. Okay, now pulmonary vein carries oxygen from the lungs. And it transfers the oxygenated blood into the left auricle. Now this is the direction of the flow of blood. Okay, oxygen is picked up by the pulmonary veins and it is transferred into the left auricle. From the left auricle, the blood is going to come to the left ventricle. From the left ventricle, again it goes to the aorta. Now from the aorta, the oxygenated blood is supplied to all the parts of our body. Now all the parts of our body, they contain what? Tissues. Okay, or these tissues are made up of cells. So these cells, they use the oxygen they use the oxygen. The blood rich in oxygen will become deficient in oxygen because cells are going to use the oxygen. Now the blood becomes deficient in oxygen. Now the blood rich in carbon dioxide or deficient in oxygen is taken by these two vena cavas. Okay, superior vena cava and inferior vena cava, and it is transferred into the right auricle. Now the blood comes to the right auricle. Okay, from the right auricle the blood goes back to the right ventricle. From right ventricle the blood moves up. Blood moves up to the pulmonary artery. To the pulmonary artery. Again, from the pulmonary artery the blood is going to go to the lungs. The blood is going to go to the lungs. Now in the lungs again purification of blood takes place. So or oxygenation takes place. So pulmonary relates to the lung. The word pulmonary relates to the lung. Okay, pulmonary artery and pulmonary veins, they are connected with the lungs. Pulmonary artery transfers the deoxygenated blood to lungs, and pulmonary veins, they carry oxygenated blood from lungs to the heart. From lungs to the heart. This is how the flow of blood takes place in the heart. Flow of blood takes place in the heart. Now here, when blood flows, okay, when blood goes to the ventricles from the auricles, now we know that the chambers of the heart, they are made up of a smooth muscle or cardiac muscles. Okay, or muscles. Simply we can call it as muscles. So heart, the chambers of the heart are made up of muscles. Now these muscles, they contract rhythmically. They contract rhythmically. So the contraction of the auricles, followed by the contraction of the ventricles generates heartbeat. So rhythmic contraction of auricles and ventricles, they generate what? Heartbeat. They generate heartbeat. So here, when the auricles, they contract, the blood is going to go to the ventricles. The blood is going to go to the ventricles. When the ventricles, they contract, the blood is going to go up from this ventricle. From the left ventricle it goes to the aorta. From the right ventricle it goes to the pulmonary artery. Each heartbeat generates one pulse. Each heartbeat generates one pulse in the artery. It generates one pulse in the artery. Okay, it generates pulse in the arteries. So we check our pulse rate by placing our thumb or index finger deep into the artery. Okay, upper part of our wrist. Then we can know the pulse rate. So this is how heartbeat and pulse rate are related. Each heartbeat generates one pulse rate. Okay. So doctors, what they do? Doctors, they listen they hear the heartbeat. Okay, to the left part of our chest cavity. They will place the stethoscope. Stethoscope is one instrument to know the heartbeat. Okay, so which is the instrument? That is stethoscope. Okay, stethoscope is the instrument which helps the doctor to know the heartbeat. To know the heartbeat. When we are abnormal, our heartbeats are faster. Our heartbeats are faster. When we are normal, our heartbeats are about 72 times per minute. This is the normal heartbeat. 72 times per minute. Okay. This is how doctors they know the heartbeat. This is how the doctors they know the heartbeat. Now, okay, transportation of circulatory fluid takes place, okay, in the organisms like human beings. In the organisms like human beings, here I have drawn the heart of a human heart. So my question is how the aquatic organisms like hydra and sponges, okay, in their body, how the transportation of oxygen and food takes place. How the transportation of oxygen and food takes place in hydra. In hydra and sponges. In hydra and in sponges. So these are aquatic organisms. These are aquatic organisms, and they don't have the circulatory fluid. They don't have circulatory fluid. They don't have the circulatory fluid. When water enters into their body, when water enters into their body, it carries food as well as the oxygen needed for the organism. It carries food and oxygen needed for the organism. When the water comes out from their body, they bring out the waste substances from the body. Like carbon dioxide is the common waste substance produced in the organisms. So this is how aquatic organisms like hydra and sponges, okay, they circulate their fluid, but they don't have a circulatory fluid. Okay, now we are going to deal with the excretion in animals. Okay, you might be knowing that the waste materials removed from the large intestine, the undigested food removed from the large intestine, how the mechanism is going on there, how the removal mechanism takes place there, you know it very well now. And the carbon dioxide, how it is removed through our respiratory system. Since carbon dioxide and the waste undigested food, they are waste substance, they are going to get rid from the body, or they are going to get excreted out from the body through the excretion. Now here we will see how other waste substances, they are going to be excreted out from the body. Okay, now for excretion we need a excretory system. Excretory system consists of a pair of kidneys. Okay, this is left kidney, and this is going to be the right kidney. And here you can see a pair of ureter. This is, since this is present towards the left side, it is known as left ureter, and this is going to be the right ureter. And these ureters, they open into the muscular bag-like structure known as urinary bladder. Urinary bladder. Okay, urinary bladder. And here in kidneys, the filtration of substances takes place. Okay, blood always contains some of the waste substances. Okay, as it is transported. So blood also contains some of the good substances as well as bad substances. Those good substances are just like amino acids, glucose. These are good substances. Even water is also a good substances. Which are bad substances? Bad substances are urea, uric acid and ammonia. These are bad substances and these are good substances. Okay, so blood carries always good substances and bad substances. So we need good substances in our body. We need all these good substances in our body. So they need to be separated from bad substances. So the task is done by this pair of kidney. This pair of kidney, they have filtering unit. They have filtering unit known as nephron. Okay. So this is basic filtering unit. Okay. In each kidney there are millions of nephrons. So these nephrons are going to filter out the good substances from the bad substances. Good substances from the bad substances. And the soluble bad substances in the form of urea or uric acid or ammonia. So in human beings it is urea. In human beings the waste substance is urea. Urea soluble with water is going to go to the ureter. From the ureter it is collected into the urinary bladder. It is collected into the urinary bladder. Now when the urinary bladder is full of urine, we feel a urge to excrete the urine. So this is guarded by the urethra. So urethra opens and closes. When we feel like going for urination, the urethra will open and urine is excreted out. So this is the excretory system. Now here excretory system consists of pair of kidneys, right kidney, left kidney, a pair of ureter and urinary bladder and even urethra. This is urethra. Okay. So aquatic animals like fish, they are going to excrete their urine in the form of ammonia. Okay. So since they are present in the water, their excretory system, that their excretion is released into the water. Okay, as waters get in and comes out, the waste substance is removed from their body, and that is ammonia. But for terrestrial animals like birds, there is solid waste substance like uric acid is going to be removed by the excretory system, and even urea from the human beings. Now urea from human beings, uric acid from birds or reptiles, and ammonia from fish. Remember these three terms: ammonia from fish, uric acid from birds and lizards, urea from animals like human beings. Okay. So this is very important. Human beings, they excrete their urine in the form of urea, and birds and reptiles, they excrete their urine in the form of uric acid, and fish, they excrete their urine in the form of ammonia, and urine contains maximum amount of water, around 97% of water, and less amount urea, uric acid and ammonia. Okay, very less amount of urea, uric acid and ammonia. Okay, in next class we are going to discuss about the excretion in plants. Okay, excretion in plants and transportation in plants. So please remember all these things what we have discussed today. We are going to meet in next class. Thank you.